Bonjour, c'est Clara Clearly French. Today we're going to have a look at word order in French, and we're going to take several examples in the present and the passé composé. Before we start, just a quick reminder that the default French word order is subject, verb, object. Now, if you want to add to this, remember that adverbs like toujours, jamais, etc. usually come after the verb. Adjectives usually come after the object, but some go before. Object and quantity pronouns must come before the verb, and then negative splits around the verb. And if you speak, you just leave the ne out, and you place the pas after the verb. Let's start with the present tense with an indefinite object. Je mange une pomme. So une pomme is the indefinite object because it's an apple, one apple. You got the subject, verb, object. Now, if you were to say, I eat one of them, you'd have to say, j'en mange une. The en replaces une pomme. The une remains because it's the quantity. So you've got subject, quantity pronoun, verb, and object. Let's add an adjective to that. Je mange une pomme verte. Subject, verb, object, adjective. Because the color goes after the object. I eat a green one. J'en mange une verte. The en is pomme. The une is the quantity, and verte is the adjective that remains. Subject, quantity, verb, adjective again. So I know in English, when you say I eat one or I eat a green one, you don't need this of them that we use, but you do in French. The sentence is not complete without it. Let's add to this again. Je mange une petite pomme verte, a small green apple. This time we've added an extra adjective before the object. So the object is sandwiched between the two adjectives. There's a list of adjectives that go before the object, and I've talked about it in a previous video. Just refer to it. So just remember, they don't all go after the object, even though most of them do. Now, if you want to say, I eat a little green one, you've got to have that en again, because one of them. J'en mange une petite verte. See, the word pomme has gone. It's replaced by en. So it leaves the two adjectives side by side. Je mange toujours une petite pomme verte. I always eat a small green apple. This time we've slotted in the adverb straight after the verb. You can never ever say in French, I always eat. It's I eat always. You have to state what you're doing and then how often follows. J'en mange toujours une petite verte. I always eat a little green one. Again, you need the en for the one of them, and it leaves the two adjectives side by side. The adverb is still in the same place, after the verb. Now let's have a look at what happens when we make je mange une pomme negative. You end up with I'm not eating any apples. And the any is the pas de. So you know the normal negative ne pas wraps around the verb. And the de is needed to replace une. So you end up with subject, the ne of the negative, verb, the pas of the negative, the de for the quantity, and the pomme, which is the indefinite object. Je ne mange pas de pommes. And of course, when we speak, we always skip the ne. So we say je mange pas de pommes. It's so much easier to say. Je n'en mange pas. I don't eat any of them. You see, the en is the of them again. But here the de has gone because it's already contained in the en. And oddly enough, the ne of the negatives go even goes even before the quantity pronoun. And that's something you have to remember if you want to use your ne, if you're writing. Otherwise, j'en mange pas is what you would say. Je ne mange pas de pommes vertes. I'm not eating any green apples. We've just added an adjective to that. Je n'en mange pas de vertes. Again, we have the de again, because we have something after pas. Therefore, the de slots in again. Now let's do the same exercise as before, but with a definite object, which is la pomme, the apple. Je mange la pomme, subject, verb, definite object. Je la mange, I eat it. And you see how the pomme has been replaced by la, which is an object pronoun, always comes before the verb. Je mange la pomme verte. So here we've added an adjective to that, which goes on the end. Je mange la verte. I eat the green one. Again, you see that pomme is an implied object. It's not really there, but it is still here in the meaning of the sentence. And now let's add to that sentence again. Je mange la petite pomme verte. We end up with the same as before, where the object is sandwiched between the two adjectives. Je mange la petite verte. I eat the little green one. You see how pomme is the implied object. It's still there, but it's invisible. Je mange toujours la petite pomme verte. Here we've added an adverb, and we said adverbs go straight after the verb. Je mange toujours la petite verte. Again, I always eat the little green one. Pomme is the implied object. It's not really in there, but it is. Now, when you make a sentence negative with a definite object, it's a lot easier than previously, because all you do is you wrap ne pas around the verb and leave everything else the same. Je mange la pomme becomes je ne mange pas la pomme. And you see why in those sentences it's so much easier to leave the ne out. Je mange pas la pomme. Je ne la mange pas. I don't eat it. Where the la is straight after the ne of the negative, but still before the verb. Je ne mange pas la pomme verte. We've added an adjective to that. It goes on the end because it's the color. Je ne mange pas la verte. I don't eat the green one. Again, the implied object is there. Now let's switch tenses to passé composé and start with an indefinite object. J'ai mangé une pomme. Here you have two verbs. You have the est and manger, which is exactly like I have eaten in English. But of course, in English, you would use I ate in that context. J'en ai mangé une. I ate one of them. I have eaten one of them. So the of them, which is the en, again, quantity pronoun goes before the verb. And here, when I say before the verb, I mean before the auxiliary verb. Same for the negative. Je n'ai pas mangé de pommes. So I did not eat any apples. Here, the negation wrapped around the est, which is the auxiliary verb. So remember, manger comes after because it's not the active verb, really. Je n'en ai pas mangé. I didn't eat any of them. Again, first part of the negation, quantity pronoun, auxiliary verb, the other part of the negation, and then the past participle. This is probably where students make all the mistakes when they speak in the past tense, every single time. Now, when it comes to the passé composé with a definite object, It's pretty much the same, except you don't have this de in the negative. J'ai mangé la pomme. I ate the apple. I have eaten the apple. Je l'ai mangé. I ate it. You see, object pronoun goes before any verbs in that sentence. Je n'ai pas mangé la pomme. You see how everything remains. All you do is wrap ne and pas around the auxiliary verb. Je ne l'ai pas mangé. Here you have the first part of the negation, the ne, then the object pronoun, and then the auxiliary verb, and then the second part of the negation. This is why we much prefer to say je l'ai pas mangé. It flows a lot better. But you have to write je ne l'ai pas mangé. If you like this video and would like to support me, I would really appreciate it if you would leave a small tip by clicking on the Ko-fi link in the description. Merci d'avance et à bientôt.